Comisia Pre-Vetting va evalua integritatea candidaților la funcțiile de membri în cadrul Consiliului Superior al Magistraturii și Consiliului Superior al Procurorilor. Vor fi verificate averile și stilul de viață ale celor care vor să facă parte din organele de autoadministrare ale judecătorilor și procurorilor. Comisia este formată din 3 experți naționali și 3 experți internaționali. Președinte a fost ales judecătorul pe cazuri penale din țările de jos, Herman von Hebel.
Being a judge myself, I know what it means to be an independent and impartial judge, but I also know what it means to work in an efficient way, in an effective way, in a transparent way. And when I was asked and approached for this position, I thought, yes, I know that there are, of course, many challenges here. And so what opportunity it is to come over, be part of that commission, and to assist to strengthen also the rule of law and the justice system here in Moldova. It's a big justice reform, enormous challenge. Of course, we hear it also from the people that we talk to here. The pressure is on, but we're ready for it. There are many challenges out there, I think, of course. It is the law sets very clear deadlines for the process. I think also based on experiences from other countries where these processes have a tendency to go on for a long time. I worked for a year in Albania, not relating to the vetting process over there, but I've seen that it takes a long time. I think it's a big challenge to complete our work within those very strict deadlines. I think what is also very important is these kind of exercises of pre-vetting and vetting in other countries as well. You can only do that once, and you have to do it right. You cannot do this for just 50% right. You have to do it 100% right. And that is what drives us. So quality is more important than the speediness of the process. But let me emphasize that if I look at the law which was adopted by Parliament and which sets out our responsibilities, the law itself clearly says that the Commission has to function in an independent and impartial way, separate from Parliament, separate from Ministry of Justice, separate from donors, diplomatic missions here and whatever. That is our obligation, and I see that all 6 members are very keen on making that happen. We will not have an impact on the independent functioning of judges. I am not going to look over the shoulder of a judge as to how he or she is deciding a particular case. That is not our mandate. But that is not our role to second guess the individual decision making of judges. So that aspect of independence and impartiality we will not touch upon. It is more the pattern of behavior, the kind of decisions, any pressure that may have come to judges or prosecutors. These kind of issues, of course, we will look into that. I think what is very important is for candidates, when they fill in their asset declaration form and also the ethics questionnaire, that they are transparent, that they are complete, and that they fill in those forms in a detailed, accurate way, that there are no misrepresentations. And candidates know that we will look into other materials as well, and that we will get information from banks. We will get information from banks in other countries. We may get information from custom authorities, from tax authorities, etc. So we will look into quite some detailed information. Of course, whenever there are questions coming up or concerns coming up or what we call red flags coming up in that material, we will ask the candidates for clarifications, and we will also, during a hearing, have those kind of communications as well. The burden of proof lies with the candidates. It's not for us to prove that there's something wrong, it's for them to prove that they have full integrity in financial and ethical terms. And that makes a big difference in the way we operate. And so any candidate is strongly advised to be absolutely transparent and absolutely complete in their presentation. And then we try to identify whether what we call there is an explicable or inexplicable wealth. If someone has a salary of, let's say, 100 euros a month or something like that, and buys a villa of 3 million, then you think, wait a minute, that doesn't match. So it is these kind of deductions that we will take in order to identify whether someone has presented the whole situation. There again, as a lawyer, as a judge, I like the idea of appeal. I'm a judge in appeal cases myself. But what is important about it is that it also forces us as Commission to be extremely clear in the way we come to our conclusions, because we know there is a possibility of appeal. They can go to the Supreme Court, they can challenge our decisions. So we see it as our obligation to translate that into a very recent decision where we clearly set out, this is the information that we have been looking into, this is where we have our questions, this has been the response from the candidate, and these are the conclusions that we draw. We have to come up with a very thorough, reasoned decision. That is what I hope. No, I do think that there is a good chance that this will help, because these kind of issues of integrity, financial integrity, ethical integrity are incredibly important. As a judge in the Netherlands, I have to declare my income every year to the authorities, and that is public information. They can look into that, and that is I'm happy to do that. And in my communication with other judges, they look into how I behave as a judge, and I look into my colleagues, and we do talk to each other about the way we perform. So there's a very strong culture of being ethical in financial and professional terms. That culture is yet to further develop here in Moldova, and I think this process will definitely have a positive impact on that process. It's not something that turns around over the weekend. That takes years of a mindset that judges and also prosecutors will have. So I'm not saying that by the end of this process the judiciary will be absolutely perfect here. That would be naive to consider that, but that this process can have a serious contribution to go in that direction. That is what I'm absolutely convinced of. Otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here.